Right, where is it? What? You know darn well what? The monster, the giant thing, the metal man.
October 17th, 1973. A warm autumn night settles over the quiet town of Falkville, Alabama. Population, just over 1,000. The streets are empty, the businesses are closed, most of the town has already gone to bed. Nothing about this night should have been memorable. But before dawn, one police chief would claim to witness something that defied explanation. He wouldn't just report it, he would photograph it. The images he captured would spark decades of debate, cost him his career, and leave behind one of the most controversial UFO cases in American history. This is the story of the Falkville Metal Man. Join us now for a voyage into another dimension, a journey into a realm as infinite and limitless as time itself. Our destination, the farthest reaches of our imagination. Welcome to the Oz Factor. Before we get into what happened that night, it's important to understand where it happened. Falkville wasn't the kind of place that attracted national attention. Nestled in northern Alabama, it was a quiet farming community where neighbors knew one another by name, children played outside until sunset, and a serious crime was rare. The town's police department reflected that simplicity. It consisted of only a handful of officers. Leading them was 26-year-old police chief Jeff Greenhaw. By all accounts, Greenhaw was practical, respected, and relatively new to the job. He wasn't known for telling fantastic stories, and he certainly wasn't known as a UFO enthusiast. Which is precisely why what happened to him next has remained so difficult to explain. It was just after 10 o'clock. Greenhaw had finished work and was relaxing at home with his wife. The evening was winding down, but then the telephone rang. On the other end was a woman whose identity has never been made public. She sounded terrified. She claimed a mysterious flying object had landed in a field owned by a local resident. Today, it's easy to imagine dismissing a report like that. But in October of 1973, America was experiencing a boom of UFO sightings. Across the country, thousands of people claimed to be witnessing strange lights, unusual crafts, and encounters with mysterious beings. Whether those reports were genuine, misidentifications, or mass hysteria remains a matter of debate. But at the time, they were impossible to ignore. Greenhaw didn't know whether the caller had seen something extraordinary or whether she had mistaken an ordinary event for something much stranger. Either way, it was his responsibility to investigate. Still off duty, Greenhaw grabbed his revolver, his flashlight, his keys, his handcuffs. Then, almost as an afterthought, he picked up his Polaroid camera. If there really was something unusual waiting in that field, a photograph would settle the matter. Within minutes, he was driving through the darkness towards the field. When he arrived, nothing seemed unusual. He searched the field on foot, he scanned the tree line, he looked for any signs of an aircraft. Nothing. Satisfied that the report had likely been a mistake, he climbed back into his truck. One last drive around the property, then go home. Or so he thought. Driving down a small gravel road, his headlights suddenly illuminated something standing ahead. At first, Greenhaw assumed it was a person. Maybe someone who was lost, maybe someone injured. He stepped from his cruiser and called out. No response. He walked closer. 30 feet. 20. 15. That's when everything changed. Standing before him was a figure unlike anything he had ever seen. Greenhaw later described it as roughly human-shaped. But that's where the similarities ended. Its body appeared to be wrapped in a wrinkled metallic covering. Not polished steel. Not chrome. Something softer. He later compared it to mercury rubbed across nickel. Bright, reflective, almost glowing beneath the headlights. The figure appeared to have almost no neck. Its head blended directly into its shoulders. An antenna-like projection extended from the top of its head. Most unsettling of all, it never spoke. Greenhaw asked if it needed help. No answer. No movement. Only silence. Police officers are trained to observe, to preserve evidence, even under stress. Greenhaw later admitted he was frightened, but his instincts took over. He reached into his truck, pulled out the Polaroid, and pressed the shutter. The flash exploded across the darkness. Then again, and again. 4 photographs in total. The first revealed little more than darkness, but the remaining images appeared to capture the figure itself, standing motionless, its wrinkled metallic surface reflecting the flash. The photographs would soon become the centerpiece of the entire case. Depending on who you ask, they're either some of the most compelling UFO photographs ever taken, or one of the simplest hoaxes ever pulled off. Whatever the figure was, the camera flash changed its behavior instantly. It churned and ran. Greenhaw sprinted back into his cruiser. The engine roared to life. He accelerated across rough farmland in pursuit. Despite pushing nearly 35 miles per hour over uneven ground, he couldn't keep up. The figure moved in a way Greenhaw struggled to describe. It wasn't simply running. It bounded. Each stride covered incredible distance, almost as though springs propelled it forward. Years later, he would say, it ran faster than any human I ever saw. Moments later, Greenhaw lost control. His cruiser slid into a ditch. By the time he climbed out, the figure had vanished. There were no footprints, no discarded clothing, no crashed spaceship, only silence. The timing of Greenhaw's encounter raised eyebrows almost immediately. Just 6 days earlier, 2 men fishing near Pascagoula, Mississippi, Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker, claimed they had been abducted by strange robotic beings. Their descriptions weren't identical, but there were similarities. Metallic appearance, unusual movements, no visible neck, mechanical behavior. Was it coincidence? Shared cultural influences? Or were 2 separate groups of witnesses describing the same phenomenon? Despite no evidence ever linking the 2 cases, the comparison refuses to disappear. Greenhaw expected questions, but he didn't expect his life to unravel. News of the encounter spread quickly. Some believed him, but many laughed. His photographs were scrutinized, his credibility attacked, and within months, he lost position as police chief, his marriage ended, then tragedy struck. His home burned to the ground. Whether any of these events were connected to the sighting has never been established. But together, they transformed what should have been a defining moment of his career into the event that overshadowed the rest of his life. Unlike many famous UFO witnesses, Greenhaw never became wealthy. He didn't write best-selling books. He didn't build a speaking career. If anything, his encounter brought him loss rather than opportunity. Skeptics have proposed several explanations. Perhaps someone wearing reflective aluminum-coated firefighting gear. Perhaps an elaborate prank involving homemade metallic clothing. Some have even suggested the figure was simply a teenager dressed in foil. It's certainly possible. But each explanation leaves questions unanswered. Why stage such an elaborate hoax in the middle of the night? Why involve an anonymous phone call? Why outrun a police cruiser across rough terrain? And perhaps most importantly, why would Greenhaw continue defending the story after losing nearly everything? Believers ask different questions. Could the figure have been a robotic probe? A scout from an unknown craft? Or something entirely outside our understanding? There are no definitive answers, only competing theories. The photographs themselves remain the heart of the mystery. Over the decades, investigators, UFO researchers, and skeptics alike have all examined the images. Some argue they reveal exactly what Greenhaw claimed. Others see nothing more than a reflective figure caught in harsh flash photography. Interestingly, later examinations reportedly included discussions of additional images associated with the negatives, fueling speculation that there may have been more to the story than Greenhaw publicly described. Whether those claims represent genuine evidence, misunderstandings during archival handling, or unrelated photographs remains uncertain. Like so many famous UFO cases, the evidence refuses to settle the debate. More than 50 years have passed since that quiet Alabama evening. The gravel road still exists, the photographs still exist, the arguments still exist. Jeff Greenhaw never changed his account. Until the end, he maintained that he had encountered something that was not human. Whether that something was an elaborate prank, a case of mistaken identity, a psychological misinterpretation, or evidence of the genuine encounter, depends largely on who you ask. Perhaps one day new evidence will emerge. Perhaps the truth has already been lost to history. Or perhaps, on a lonely Alabama road, a young police chief experienced the Oz factor.